To begin the folding attic ladder installation, I need to create a wider opening between the ceiling joists, and in this shed they are spaced 16 inches apart on center. To do this, I first added 2 new 2x6 joists, one here to double up or sister this existing one that's just clear of the roll-up door, and a second one around 24 inches over from that. Those 2 new joists will make up the width of the opening I'll need for the folding ladder. With those in place, I now need to remove the section of the existing joist that's in the way. Over at the end closest to the beam, I started with a shortcut using a circular saw. Then finished that with an oscillating tool that I can plunge straight in these tight spots. I added a temporary support board screwed under the joist to hold up the remains of the section I was removing, along with another support on top of the joist to hold the board in place while I make these cuts. Even though I was unable to complete the 2 cuts with the circular saw, it at least started my cut square to the board face. And now I can remove the screw that kept that piece in place. There's an assortment of scrap plywood that makes up the floor of the attic that I also need to work around. Now I'll cut away a section of that plywood floor. All the cuts I've made with this oscillating saw, I could also do from above with a jigsaw. I recycled the 2x6 section I removed to make up the double header on one end of the opening. Here I added some rafter brackets to fully support these framing additions. I'm not sure if I needed to do that for this tail joist, as the screws should be strong enough on their own, but it can't hurt. I bought a ladder kit made by Featherlite. It's the only option available from that orange big box building supply place in my area. I'm not sponsored by Featherlite or anyone else for that matter, but the price seemed reasonable and the online reviews were good. The instructions were complete and pretty easy to follow, and they had all the details I needed to install it. I need to add a 1x4 board under each end of the opening to support the ladder assembly while I attach it to the ceiling joists. The measurement for the placement of these 1x4s is very specific, so I took some time to get it just right. The wooden frame of the ladder needs to sit on these boards and still allow the mechanism to swing down as it's pulled open. Earlier, I added 2 lights and a switch to the attic. And I was glad I did that before installing this ladder. It made working up there much easier. Didn't have to run extension cords or temporary lighting. Okay, all the boards are in place. I was working alone at this, and I figured lifting the ladder into place was doable, but I knew it would be awkward. To mitigate any pending disaster, I attached 2 safety ropes in case I slipped during the lift. But it went okay, thankfully, and I was able to fit it in the opening and on the 2 1x4 support boards. Up in the attic, I can add a few screws to the hinge end of the ladder. Having 2 stepladders was a good idea. The taller one was positioned where I could squeeze between the joists to have access to the attic space. Then I can remove my safety ropes. With the strap that keeps the ladder mechanism closed still in place, I pulled the ladder open for the first time. Then I checked that it was centered in the opening and added some shims. Then drilled pilot holes through the frame and into the joist and ran in the lag bolts that came with the kit. And finally checked that it opens and closes freely. Now I'll remove the 1x4s and trim the wooden shims flush. I cut the heavy plastic zap strap and unfold the ladder. And it felt great to finally get to this point. The instructions indicate how much you need to trim off the bottom of the aluminum side rails for the height of your particular ceiling. So the last thing to do is cut the rails and the feet according to the chart, then bolt the feet onto the bottom. And here a jigsaw or hacksaw would work just as well, but the oscillating saw was handy, so I used it. In my last video, I was wondering if I should even bother editing the footage and posting it to YouTube, because really all I did was put in a support column. That's what I thought, but I was totally wrong. And the reason I'm glad I went ahead with that first video in this series is the amazing comments it received. There were some great thoughts, questions, and suggestions posted, and I so appreciate that. It really gave me a boost, so I just wanted to share a thank you to all my viewers. Okay, back to part 2. Cut that outside. And the ladder is done, and it works really well. With the attic ladder installed and all my wiring completed for the new shop outlets, I can finally get to insulating this space. I decided to go with Rockwool over fiberglass for my wall and ceiling insulation. It's more expensive, but I find it a better product and for me easier to work with. My walls are 2x4 on 16-inch centers, so I have their R14 bats for that, and the 2x6 ceilings also on 16-inch centers, so I'll use their R22 bats there. I always wear pants and a long sleeve shirt and a mask when working with any insulation. There's some irritating fibers that come off these bats while cutting and handling that you really want to avoid inhaling or getting on your skin. To cut these bats down to the size I need and to notch around all the electrical boxes and wires, I'll use an electric carving knife. This is the cheapest one I could find at Wally World, and it works fantastic for cutting this type of insulation. I've seen other YouTubers cut their insulation this way, and it works really well. I'll post some links below. I measure, transfer the marks to the bat with a Sharpie, then make the cut. The electric carving knife makes a quick, clean cut, and the bats fit snug between the studs. This space became noticeably quieter as I added more insulation. This type of insulation does not sag like the fiberglass can, and later as I was working on the ceiling, that made a big difference. To work around the wire in this space, I make a partial cut through the back face of the bat. And I'll notch out the corner to go around the outlet box. I can then fold the bat to open the cut in the back and fit the wire in. And I just repeated these steps to add the rest of the wall insulation. And all of this is the same for the bats that went in the ceiling between the joists. Only difference is you need to work overhead with a ladder or sawhorses. The electric garage heater in the corner there is an expensive way to heat this shop, so in an upcoming video I'll be installing a mini split heat pump. For the plastic sheeting air barrier, I first applied a bead of acoustical sealant to the top of the wall. Then I folded down the extra length of plastic from the ceiling and pressed it into the sealant. Now I'll add the wall plastic sheet and tack it down with staples. Cutting around electrical boxes as I go. A bead of sealant also goes at the bottom of the wall. This will keep air from moving within the wall cavity. I'll use some vapor barrier tape around each outlet. It took a fair bit of time to do this, but it will keep air from moving around the outside edges of the boxes. Before I added the bats of insulation, I sprayed some expanding foam sealant to the back of these boxes and to any wire penetrations. This will help keep air from moving through the boxes. If I was going to do this again, I'd use the preformed electrical box vapor barriers. These are like boots that the box sits in to seal out air movement. Live and learn. The way I'm doing this will work, but it takes a bit more time. To finish this section of the wall, I'll tape the seam where the wall plastic overlaps the ceiling sheet. I added some 2-inch rigid foam to my roll-up door as it was not insulated. I cut these panels on my circular saw and slid them into place. Now this made the door a lot heavier, so I had to have the spring retensioned. On the outside of this roll-up door, I added some weather stripping to seal up the gap between the door and the jamb. In the next episode of this series, I'll add the ceiling panels and lights. There we go. Okay. Just trying to break around and see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.